Will it make production?
So that's the $64,000 question, in fact, a lot more than that. I'm Chris Fisher, I work at Toyota UK and I'm the manufacturing lead for the fantastic prototype fuel cell Hilux. So we built 10 prototype hydrogen fuel cell Hilux and these are based on the Generation 2 fuel cell system that we have on the Toyota Mirai vehicle. So the basics of the vehicle is we have 3 large hydrogen tanks, 700 bar, and they carry 7.8 kilograms of hydrogen, which gives good driving range of over 600 kilometres. They supply hydrogen to the fuel cell stack at the front of the vehicle, which through a chemical reaction converts that hydrogen into electricity, which powers the e-motor at the rear of the vehicle to drive the rear wheels. Yes, I'm the manufacturing lead for this project, and when the project officially started in July 2022, we then had a 27-week R&D schedule to the cut-off of when we needed to make parts. So that is extremely fast. And the reason we were able to do it as fast as this is we used these core carryover components, the tanks, the stack, the motor and the battery, which you can see on the vehicle. And by using those core existing proven components from Generation 2 Mirai, it meant that we could focus on all the other elements of bringing the Mirai vehicle and the Hilux vehicle together, but 27 weeks was still incredibly challenging. So that brought us to the start of 2023, when we had to go out and develop a new supplier base of UK and local European suppliers to build our prototype parts. And then the build itself started in June 2023. The build of 10 vehicles was completed in November 2023. We finished the evaluation at the start of this year, and since then we've been demonstrating the vehicles to customers. Yep, so the powertrain here, the Generation 2 fuel cell system. So it delivers 182 horsepower. Inside the fuel cell stack, we call it a stack because there is 330 fuel cells that are stacked together and then compressed, and each cell generates around 1 volt of electricity, and that's why we call this a fuel cell stack. A fuel cell converts hydrogen supplied from the tanks through a chemical reaction into electricity. So in very, very simple terms, each cell has a membrane, and on one side of the membrane we supply hydrogen, on the other side of the membrane we supply oxygen, and then through a chemical reaction the hydrogen particle passes through the membrane, but the electron cannot pass through and has to pass around. And of course the flow of electrons is electricity, so each cell generates electricity, and the combination of 330 cells generating electricity gives us that meaningful power to be able for us to power a large vehicle like a Hilux. So Toyota has shown a really strong commitment towards hydrogen, and that's visible to everybody in the vehicles that you can see that we've already got available on the road and what we're doing in motorsport. So our commitment is crystal clear for hydrogen fuel cell in the Mirai, the Crown, which is now being produced for other regions around the world, and the prototype fuel cell Hilux. Of course, we're also looking at hydrogen combustion, currently in motorsport, but who knows where that will go. And for me personally, I can see within the business, the organisation, the size of the teams, the engineers, the R&D team are growing all the time, so that commitment is clear that we're in hydrogen for the long term. So we understand our customer very, very well, and we understand the icon of our range that Hilux is. So our desire, if we went to market, is that the specification of diesel could be matched with the specification of a zero-emission fuel cell vehicle. Our R&D team are working hard on achieving that. Some aspects are easier to achieve than others, but our clear development goal is to match all the spec of diesel Hilux. So this vehicle, the 10 prototypes have had an intensive development evaluation, and it passed all that development criteria. However, we want to develop this vehicle further and understand the requirements from our customer before we decide, do we move forward to mass production or do we take a different direction. This vehicle is so much nicer to drive than the diesel Hilux. The diesel Hilux, of course, is a diesel powertrain, so you get the usual vibration associated and noise associated with this. However, this is a fuel cell electric vehicle, so it's a very smooth, powerful driving experience for the customer. And I think for many of our customers who've experienced the vehicle, we've done a diesel to fuel cell vehicle back-to-back drive, and the comments from that have always been extremely positive, that this vehicle is a real leap forward in driver experience. The only final thing I'd like to say about this specific project is just remind everybody that this project was achieved by Toyota UK in Burnaston in Derbyshire, and our consortium of technical experts, UK engineering companies, and we're very proud that we were able to develop and deliver these high quality 10 prototype vehicles in an extremely short time frame. We started the project in July 2022. A year later we had working prototypes, and here we are now, another year later. Those vehicles have been improved and they're at a level now where we can demonstrate them to the customer. And for me personally, somebody who's worked in Toyota UK a long time, I've really loved the way we've diversified from our core business of high volume manufacturing of Corolla and previously Avensis vehicles into this kind of future project that really has a global value within Toyota's business.
Will it make production?
So that's the $64,000 question, in fact, a lot more than that. So that decision will be made in the near future based on the technical specification of the vehicle and based on the market demand from our customers. And we're working very intensively on those two topics to understand that appetite from the market, to see can we match that diesel specification, can we deliver a Hilux, a proper Hilux to the customer with a zero emission fuel cell powertrain. And I am very, very hopeful. I have my fingers crossed, but of course that decision is made right at the top of the business. But yeah, I'm very hopeful that we can.